Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that's how it's done. All right, I got a beer in me. I'm punch drunk from a late night.
Cheers.
And
Cheers.
we're cracking and saying
Cheers.
Cheers, Adam. AJ is on our show, and this is what we're drinking right now and saying cheers to.
That's good.
I thought you forgot for a second.
I did.
Came back. It's okay.
I came back. I brought it back.
Both work.
So we just did a whole conversation about his radio program and great stuff. Episode 38, please check it out. And now, since he's here, we're going to have him entertain us with his thoughts on a very profound and deep, tantalizing subject, the fate of humanity. And it's funny, I told George today, I was like, dude, I got a subject for us, the fate of humanity. What do you think? And he's like, oh.
No, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I said it's cool.
He's like, yeah, I'll make about $1 million. Okay, so.
What about the fate of humanity, Eric?
Okay, so.
Tell me.
I think we're in pivotal times. I think we covered that a little bit on episode 36 when we talked about the Men in Black and the whole Twilight Zone that we're living in. What?
Nothing.
Uh-huh. So, anyways.
Total Recall.
Yes, we did talk about that.
34.
That's right.
He's got Total Recall.
Yes, he does. 33, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28.
Episode 1?
Yes, that one. So, I think we're in pivotal times right now. You know? Planets reaching or has surpassed maximum carrying capacity. Right? Mm-hmm. We've got so many viewpoints that aren't aligning. We have countries are getting closer and closer and closer. The global economy, the global the world stage is there's no hiding anymore.
Yep. Corporate companies are still spilling sewage into the oceans.
Sewage? Oh, we're doing that, dude. Every time we flush our toilet.
Oh, well.
But you're on the right track there.
I think the corporate companies are polluting.
No, what George was trying to say, and I'm just being stupid, was
no, you're not.
He's giving me a hard time. It's okay.
Totally.
You're keeping us straight, bro.
What's next? What's our fate? Are we doomed to repeat the whole biblical Christian Armageddon thing? Are we gonna straighten the ship out and sail into cleaner seas? AJ said he was an optimistic.
This is the awakening.
The frequency shift?
This is the awakening.
Interesting.
Do you know today is like Sirius retrograde? It's not just Mercury in retrograde. It's Saturn in retrograde. It's Jupiter in retrograde.
No.
Yeah. It's crazy right now.
I didn't know
I
that.
felt wild. Did you feel weird today?
A little bit.
Well, look at how I'm behaving.
Well,
of course.
Well,
I'm behaving even odder than normal.
Yeah, you are.
Eric's always in retrograde.
Well, you know what? I did feel off today, but in a positive way. I just felt
Me too.
very
I did too.
Ambitious and dude, I was very
I
productive
felt like
today.
the world was my oyster today.
Yeah, but yesterday, I'm just like, man, I was really bummed out. Whatever, it just was feeling normal. Whatever,
I almost told the owners to fuck off today, but I didn't. I thought to myself, I was like, I don't need to say that because I'm having a great day.
What did they do to you to make you want to?
Yeah, what owners?
What happened?
Just the attempt to get a rise.
Oh yeah.
After a while,
he's good at that.
After a while, I'm just like, you know what?
Yeah, he's good at that.
Just don't get me started, man.
But yeah, never mind.
I know. Hey, maybe we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, it'll be a good show.
It would be a great show. No, but I felt like untouchable.
Cool.
And then, of course, my wife can say something that'll just just put a fucking huge cannonball hole in the bottom of the ship, and that's like starting to sink. I'm like, fuck. But that got recovered too, because I think she felt all that stuff you were saying, the Jupiter and Mars ascending and rescending and ascending, and
she was
mesmerizing.
Very chill today. Oh,
she was.
And your kids too.
Yeah, everybody was chill today. See, I think my kids are hypersensitive to stuff like this. Okay, so Adam, you brought up some deep shit here. Explain. AJ.
That we're in the awakening.
Yes, explain. AJ. I want to know more about this.
I think it's obvious. You know? I think it's obvious. It's
Okay, so are you one of those like hybrid extraterrestrials that's like trying to communicate with humanity right now and say, "Hey, look, you guys, just it's happening right now."
dude, I'm
and you're
not
like,
trying to communicate.
speaking in
I
code.
am,
and
there's
like
no
some special
way that I am
meaning
trying to
in the
communicate
whole
with
talk right now
humanity.
and all that. No,
No way, dude.
is there any humanity left?
Yeah, absolutely.
a lot.
But
Okay.
it's out of my control. You know, I can only do my part, obviously.
Right.
And what I love about Mike on a Platter is how zen you guys are. And that's the way I live, you know? It's
So we're birds of a feather.
oh, absolutely.
Birds of a feather.
Thirds of a beather.
Forever, my brother.
Jesus, Eric.
I know. I'm gonna
It's that retrograde.
Yeah. No, dude, it's taking over my body and my mind.
I was brought in here to be the nemesis.
I'm waiting for it.
So here, I'm going to start right now.
Okay.
Okay.
This
Preach
setup
on, brother.
with three
Preach on.
with three people, we got to change the setup.
Oh,
we need to be a
yes.
triangle. We need to be able to look at each other.
Yeah. Well, I'm not
So
getting
we're
rid of
going
the
to
pool
work on
table.
it.
So
I'm just saying, we're got to work on it. We're going to
Okay.
figure it out.
Let's cut your pool table.
I want to be able to make eye contact
Oh,
with
no,
both
yeah.
of you at the same
my
time.
wife won't even let me sit on the fucking table, even though I do all the time and stand on it. And I'm like doing stuff. She's like, "No, get off the table!" And then my kids get on and they're standing on it and sitting on it, freaking out. But anyways, okay. So
Anyway,
yeah, I agree, man.
Okay.
I would love to make a triangle
We gotta
because
make a
that's
triangle.
that is like you know.
That sounds like an awesome table.
That means we need a studio. No more shacking out in my shiny garage.
we could do it at my house.
Really?
All right.
No problem.
I'm down to drive.
I have an extra room ready for
Are you
a
married?
studio. No, dude.
You don't have kids?
No.
Oh,
2 dogs.
Dude, it's your
two
house.
dogs?
It's on.
My house is ready
You
for
have
a studio.
nobody to ruin your pleasure. No one.
Who ruins your pleasure,
I'm
Eric?
lonely,
We're
though.
going to go over to AJ's house and take over.
I think I'm lonely.
Oh, that's okay.
Well,
we're
you know
lonely
what?
too.
Set up your triangle
Eric's
table.
suffering.
I know. Jupiter's pulling me that way. Mars is pulling me this way.
And Uranus is going over there.
That's
Oh.
right. That's right. Make sure you wipe it. So, okay, so going back to this Jupiter and Mars, what was it called?
No, well, you texted me today about the future of humanity.
I'm brushing my plants again.
So
Yes.
there's a lot of ways that it can go, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think we got to focus on all of the great ways. Here's the good news. Are you ready for the good news?
Yes, sir.
Guys, you ready for the good news?
Absolutely.
The good news is that there's so many visions of utopia.
Yes, there are.
And that's all the human mind needs to do is to create positivity. And it happens.
Yep.
So if you think about all of the beautiful lands that have been created in science fiction or drama,
Sci-fi, man after my
Right?
heart. I love it. Yes.
it exists. So just like, art imitates life, life imitates art, and people bag on violence and all of that baloney in the media right now, the opposite is true too. So that's what we have to focus on. And someone like, this is like my hero right now, right? It's somewhere I can put my faith in humanity, and that's Elon Musk,
Yes.
right?
Even though he's a slave
Yes.
driver?
Dude, well, so that gets into capitalism to me.
Yes.
And what I love of what is not talked about capitalism and the trickle down theory, when it's working proper, it's the way it should be. We need leaders Not everyone is a
Not
leader.
children. They got a bunch of children running things out
Right?
there.
Not everyone's a leader. And I've improved many times in my life because I've had an asshole boss or a prick for a baseball coach, who drove my ass to become better. And now looking back at it, it's obvious to me that I couldn't have been who I am now and proud of myself as I am. And you know what? I'm going to even throw my father into that mix. My dad was super competitive with me and drove me to be great. So I don't buy the problem with any system to me, and I know, Eric, this is what I love about you, is that I feel like you've got a way more better handle on this than I do. But all systems, socialism, capitalism, I'm not going to say communism, but anyway, let's just talk about the two main systems. The concept is good. The concept of capitalism, of the trickle-down theory and someone leading the way and sharing the wealth is good. Socialism, the sharing aspect of that, is also good. Mm-hmm. And you could say that America is a little bit of both. I know people love to just bag on capitalism.
Well, initially free enterprise, but then capitalism/socialism.
But we have a lot of socialist ideas or functions in our society as well. The police department, the fire department, schools. There's plenty of, it's set up to share, Mm-hmm. Corruption is the problem. And mm-hmm. that's where it goes south in every system. Mm-hmm. People get money and they get corrupt. So we got to just keep calling out corruption. And that's what's going on right now, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
For sure. So anyway, I'm a moron.
Well,
so
you know what?
I
will comment on that a little bit, if you don't mind, because you've opened up a huge thing here, and that is we have so many different cultural ways in our different cultures. There's so many different world perspectives on how to conduct society, how to conduct a large group of people, and generationally, and passing down tradition, and how you share, and who deserves what, and if it's a communal thing like a tribal thing, or if it's a free for all, or somewhere in between, right? So yes, that's the problem I see, is you have two camps here. You got the camp of ideologies, and then you got the camp of culture. Okay? And when you try to mix the two together, if the ideology and the cultural mindset are juxtaposed, you try to fit them together, it's like the round hole in the square peg, it won't go through. So flexibility is a huge component in any change that I can even possibly remotely imagine is gonna propel us forward in trying to meld all of this. Because how do you reconcile and say, okay, you believe that you should have communism, and your great grandfather did that, and so therefore your great grandfather did that, and then your and all the way down the line, how do you convince somebody of that? Okay, have some flexibility.
No, nobody's happy with communism, bro.
Okay, and that's why I'm picking on that one. That's why I'm picking on that one. Because it is so fictitious. It's so difficult to properly regulate. How do you, to each according to his ability, for each according to his need? How do you properly judiciate that?
May I say that, and this is completely timely. What's great about our forefathers in this great country of America that we live in, they became who they are and fought for what they fought for because they were in this spot we're in. And put the 200 years before them together and realized this isn't, they took all of their education and came up with this idea of America. And that's why you shouldn't pour red paint on George Washington.
Oh, I know. Come on.
I'm not, and I get the whole, that he had slaves and that he was an asshole. He's he's the baseball coach that made me cry. When I got home from baseball practice, I cried. I didn't let anybody else see it. But anyway, point is, they're doing the best they can for what you're saying, trying to progress, right? And be flexible and listen to everybody. That's what's so great about the Constitution, is that you've got geniuses of all walks of life. Well, and that's where I get shot down. That's where I get canceled on the internet.
You know what, man? It was crafted well. It was crafted well.
But more important, the main point is that those guys were well educated. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of history of oppression. They were having the same problems in England.
Right.
You know? So anyway, they set up some really good rules,
And they kept it vague in a way and very general.
Yeah. Well,
so that, you know what, here's one thing I've learned about something like the Constitution, because I was president of a dive club for a couple years, did the vice president, all the positions, but the constitutions, the bylaws, if you will, of how you're going to govern are written in such a way that they're simple, to the point, and they are scripted in a way that has enough generality to it that it's allowed to curve a little bit this way, and then curve a little bit that way, and then it curves a little bit this way, and then it goes that way, but there's always a center line. And the curve this way and the curve that way is going to be what we might call on the political spectrum radicalism or reactionaryism. The radical is on the far left, the reactionary on the far right. So you always go back to the Constitution, and sometimes it sways like this because it has to adapt to the culture at the time. This culture right now is going like this. I mean, it's not even swaying this way or swaying that way. I mean, it's all over the place. But that's typically what it would do. It'll wave this way and then it'll wave back the way. But that's always a center line. And there has to be a little bit of flexibility for it to accommodate a little pendulum shift in the culture at the time.
We've got the wild card, which is the internet. Yes,
it's confusing.
It's definitely, and it's brand new. We talked about this at lunch the other day, right?
Yep.
The history. I always say this to my friends and family when we're getting heated, that we're only around for 50 to 100 years as a human.
If we're lucky, 100.
It's a drop in the bucket.
Who wants
right?
to be 100 though?
And the longer
That's old.
right?
Damn.
And the longer the country goes on, the more of a drop in the bucket 50 to 100 years is. So we're just figuring out civil rights right now. It's like there was a huge explosion in the 60s, and we still got a lot of the same problems, no doubt, but a lot is better. And we're just figuring it out, and it's 60 years later, and people are like, what's wrong with us? Why can't we? It's like 60 years is nothing.
I know.
It's nothing.
My mom's side of the family comes from Switzerland. And Lucerne, the city where my mom lives in, of course, my mom's probably going to correct me, but I want to say it was founded in like 1000. So the 10th century, something like that.
I'm not
or 1249 or some shit like that. Okay, that is what 800 years. Something like that.
10 generations.
And my mom will correct me, and I'll have to correct myself on the next podcast that we do.
Okay.
But it's at least 600 or 700 years that they've been around. with good historian, record keeping and art collecting, like a lot of European countries have. But the point being is, imagine having 600 years of like a real solid commitment to a culture and idealism in a country. That's we don't know what that means. Not even close.
One of my favorite. It's a quote. I should have written it down. I really didn't come prepared.
We never do.
You guys know who Dave Rubin is?
That sounds familiar, actually.
The Rubin Report.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
He's another hero of mine. I love the guy. And one of his points is the left of the country wants open borders. They also are telling you how crappy the country is. how bad American is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that makes no sense. That's where the corruption, obviously, both sides. Let me just state this for the record. I am an independent.
I am as well.
Both sides are fucked.
Yeah, they are.
Bleep that, George.
Don't let any Republican or Democrat tell you that their side is right. They're both full of shit.
You know what? There you go.
They have their merits. But they're both full of shit because they're all riding the corruption ticket. And like you said, Adam, that's where the internet is really helpful, is exposing all that corruption. And, going back to what's the fate of humanity? I don't know. I think the internet may be our savior in a way.
Well, what about fake news?
That even furthers how much look at what's going on around you and make your decision.
Because anybody could write anything on the internet.
Exactly. That's why it's all bullshit.
So, what would you believe?
I believe that you got alien probed last night. That's what I believe. No, I don't know. You know what the truth of the matter is? It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is,
What do you mean it doesn't matter?
All the shit that you read. Okay, this person did this person did that. Trump signed this, Trump signed that.
The truth matters, right?
What truth?
Okay, so to George's point, the truth matters. The question is how do you get to the truth? The yin yang sign, another highlight of the Mike on a Platter podcast, is the truth, right? You need both. And that's what's good about the Democrat. The concept of two-party system is good because
check and balance.
Yeah. I get that.
It's a check and balance. I know.
I get that. It just doesn't work good
but
when it gets
here's
corrupt.
the problem. Here's the problem is people have lost the critical thinking skill on the whole. We get stuck on this side or we get stuck on that side. You're not critical thinking anymore. You say, hold on a second. Listen to what you're being told. Whether it's the truth or not, you have to look deeper than that. You have to look deeper than what somebody's telling you, because there's often many layers in the cake that you don't see when somebody makes a statement about, hey, this is happening or that's happening.
But don't you think the three of us are good at critical thinking, even though we're all stupid?
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, so everybody can do it.
It's making the choice to do it. So, when someone gets all up in arms about, politicians on the left or politicians on the right, it's like, yeah, all politicians. They're all big animals that are fighting for their survival, and they will do anything by any means to stay alive. They will kill to keep the machine going on both sides. Don't believe that that's not the case. They will. They will do whatever it takes to survive.
Well, we're definitely seeing that right now.
And we feed into that. And they trick us into feeding into that.
That's scary.
Don't you think
it's the truth?
Don't you think the awakening, though, is most people are not left and right? Most people are center.
Yeah.
And they don't have a voice, right?
Yeah.
And that's why the extremes are it's entertainment right now.
That you hit the nail on the head,
you
buddy.
did, actually.
It's propaganda for either side. That's all it is.
I happen to be the one
Propaganda
good thing.
for either
The
side.
one thing
and
that
everybody's like, we're done with this.
I would say that I'm pretty good at math. That's like one of my talents. And when you start applying statistics to everything, it's easier to find the truth, which most people are not good at math. Or they don't care. I shouldn't say that they're not good at it. Maybe they just didn't. And I'm not highly educated in math, by the way, but it comes easier to me. And I feel like it's a very good filter for me to figure out what the truth is. You know, this COVID business, when you look at statistics and you know all of the statistics, it's easier to get to a better feeling of what's really going on. And by the way, and everything changes all the time, right? Every moment in time changes. So your results are changing all the time, and most of us that's where the internet's going crazy right now, is that it can't keep up with reality, right?
I think yeah, absolutely.
It and getting the hits, right, and commercialism as far as trying to sell news, it can't keep up with what's going on.